There is a subreddit called the Herman Cain Award that celebrates the death of American anti-vaxxers and is now at 500,000 followers. So my pointed question for you, you can only answer yes or no, is this group just a group of douchey neckbeard internet trolls shaming dead victims of COVID misinformation, or an absolutely fucking royal display of poetic justice?
Yes.
All right, that's on me. All right, that's on me. A or B? You can only answer A or B.
All of the above.
I'm gonna go B on this one. I mean, obviously the answer is all of the above, but B, it's people getting their frustration out on this insane anti-vax conspiracy, and it might not be the most healthy way that it does it, but humans aren't exactly capable of processing emotions normally all the time, especially in large groups. And it's it's just people getting through the day.
All right, Colin, do you want to amend your answer now that Craig has upstaged you here with some more context?
Well, I mean, I would say it's both. I mean, like, sure, it's like people are getting out their frustrations, but I mean, there's something like a little bit dark about like publicly airing your joy of someone's misery, right? I mean, there's got to be an element of that.
I don't know. Like, I'm still really on the fence about this because I think we've all spoken about this before, and like I feel like this might be a cop out. But like, I have family members who are still unvaccinated, and like I'm just afraid that like I'd be scrolling through one day and I'd be like, like cousin Greg, and like flipping through and just like having to like watch his like mental breakdown as he just like starts talking about like fucking like frog lizards and like turpentine water and like putting. Like, I don't know, like horse cum in his butt. Like, I don't like what's like, I don't know. I mean, I know it's getting insane. Like, people have already started drinking their piss. So it's just like, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like thumbing our noses up at like an already like, like susceptible portion of the population. Like, I'm not imagining some dude in like a 5-bedroom house in some like cul-de-sac. Like, I'm imagining, like someone on. This is maybe fucked up on mine, like a dude that lives in a trailer who like, bought into online bullshit and then like drank paint thinner and died. And people are like, yeah, fuck that guy. So I'm just like, I don't know. It leaves such a weird taste in my mouth.
It's because you're supposed to put the horse semen in your butt, Ian. That's the problem. I don't know. You brought up an interesting point, Ian, but before we like recorded today, that it's like, it's something about like if the news is the one doing this. We brought up the differences between what's that fucking douchebag?
Rush Limbaugh. Like
Rush
I was
Limbaugh.
like I was like really excited when Rush Limbaugh died. It was like, yeah, woo!
Yeah, you were super stoked that Rush Limbaugh died, and then now we have like this thing. It's like we have a bunch of micro Limbaughs, and we get to like we get to publicly celebrate as each as the dominoes fall, and I don't know. You brought you're like, well, these are like personal, like private people. I'm like, I don't know. They're like influencers and they're micro influencers, right? Like they each have like their little sphere of influence and they're like, like maybe like there's the one person who's super vocal on their Facebook page or on their Twitter or whatever. But like, how many people did they influence to not get the vaccine and also die? They're like these fucking mouthpieces for like an actually super problematic thing. So like, are we allowed to? I'm not celebrating that they're like, oh, a loving father died. No, I'm celebrating an anti-vaxxer died. Like I know that they have like, they like we all contain multitudes, but like I don't know. That's not the part I'm cheering for.
I doubt any of these people are loving fathers. Like every single one of these people has given their children PTSD and a fucking complex. Okay, look.
I want to know the number of children that are upvoting parents' deaths on the Herman Cain Award subreddit, because I guarantee you it's not zero. That's the whole thing.
Oh my God.
I think it really comes back to this idea of like, yes, these people are misinformed and they've been misled, but how many outs have they had? And they continue to not take the out. So at a certain point, you got to have a little personal responsibility. And when the life-saving drug is right there in front of you and 2 billion people have taken it, you can't be out here saying it's insane, right? And so that at a certain point, it's like, hey, you got to do something. And it's morbid that we're celebrating these people dying, but it's been 2 years of this and it is impacting all of our lives, and it's time to move on. And if this is the way we're going to collectively say, okay, we're accepting this now, I'm okay with it.
It's weird. It's weird to frame it in like the context of like, you know what? The sooner these assholes die, the quicker I can get into theaters and see the new Spider-Man movie. Like, good. Fuck them.
Still haven't seen it, by the way. I'm waiting, well, I guess.
Not enough people have died of COVID.
Okay. How many people need to die before I can see Spider-Man?
How many more? Well, I had another. So like maybe it was Colin's point or Shay's point. I can't remember, but what was I going to say? Like, what's like the minimum number of like followers you can have where like I'm not allowed to like publicly like applaud your death? like what's the would it be the floor or the ceiling in this instance? Like,
I think it'd be the floor.
Okay, what's the floor? Like, how many followers do you need to have before, like, I mean, like under 80, it's like, that's in poor taste. Like, this guy was screaming into a void. Like, let's not celebrate him.
Well, and I think it depends on, do you have an anime avatar or a normal avatar, right? Because the anime avatar, if you have that, I mean, we're talking, you can celebrate those deaths all day long.
A waifu, just like a little...
If it's
what am I missing here?
Little waifu.
Is there a joke here? It's like an inside joke that I'm not catching. Do you just hate
waifu?
Yeah, you just like hate weeaboos. Like, what's going on here?
Are you saying weibu or waifu?
Waifu, right? Like, isn't it like the
waifu.
Little the waifu?
What the hell is a waifu?
Us are on the same page.
What is a waifu?
Okay, you know how like some people like you know how some people talk to some and they're like, okay, get offline. Like, I would like Shay to get online just a little bit.
Okay, have you ever seen 30 Rock?
I've seen Krieger's animated Japanese girlfriend from Archer. That's
a waifu. That's a waifu.
Okay, I think I'm catching up now. All right. I see where the ire is directed now. I think we're all here on the same page then, that this is fucking fine. Like, who fucking cares? Then?
I know, I didn't say that.
If I can speak for Ian here, I'd say we all agree. Wait, so Ian, so you have an issue with this? You take issue?
Yes.
All right, well, make yourself more clear to me.
I opened with, I think this is fucked up, guys.
I don't remember. I tuned out, Ian, as soon as you start talking.
Not to get meta, but like some of this stuff is just weird because like, we're commenting on social media trends, right? Like, it's just kind of like a weird thing, right? Like, okay, so these are all these Facebook posts. Who know if they're authenticated or not? And like, then we gather onto this like subreddit where all we're doing is like meta analyzing all of these like social media posts. Like, it's just kind of like an interesting phenomenon, right? Like, is it productive? I don't know.
I don't think the question was, is it productive? That's a very different answer.
It's just like a weird thing, right? Like, it's within the past few years that it's really taken off, right?
But I mean, I grew up, okay, so like as a child, my parents had, before smartphones, you had to have a book in the bathroom, and we had the fucking Darwin Awards sitting on top of our toilet my entire life. I mean, this is basically the same thing.
Sure. Yeah, the concept has always existed, I guess.
Yeah.
Correct. That's a fucked up book to have in the bathroom. Like, what an awful thing to read. Like, where you're dropping a deuce.
We had one of those houses where people were always going to the bathroom, and you just had the Darwin Awards. There was easy and short.
Craig, you can't say that like it's a normal thing. Like, I just had one of those houses where everyone just came over to shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. We had a lot of people in my house. Like, we had one of those
just
houses with an open door policy. Like,
open bathroom door policy. Yeah.
Like, everyone in your house had IBS. Like, Craig, what the fuck?
I don't know. I'm just saying, we had that book there. I've read that more than a dozen times. I mean, I still vividly remember some of the stories on there, and they're more fucked up than the Herman Cain Awards.
Sure. Well, the Herman Cain Awards is like a subsect of the Darwin Awards, I feel like. It's like, you didn't decide to get vaccinated, and all of your friends didn't either. It's very fucking dumb. But Colin, so if I had to put you in the black and white here, yes or no for this being wrong, I'm kind of getting the vibe that you're signing here with Ian. Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
Yeah, you think it's fucked up?
I think so. I mean, like, I think from like an objective point of like morality, it's probably fucked up. But like, I don't know. But at the same time, I think it's a little bit of both. It's like, I'm kind of with Craig where it's like, I don't know, you do have a lot of outs that you could have taken. So I definitely don't like have a lot of sympathy, I guess. But
all right, well, if this Herman Cain Award subreddit is not without its rules, despite being I guess problematic to say the least. I'm not really even trying to describe it, but they do have rules. So I'm going to read to you guys some of the rules for what it takes to even make one of these posts. There's 7 of them, and like I'm going to read 5 of them, but so.
Or less.
Or less. Or 0.
I'm going to read 5 or fewer.
So the statements have to have been made. The statements, the anti-vax, anti-COVID, whatever, the misinformation have to have been made prior to the person receiving hospital care. So they have to have at one point said something dumb and then have made it to the hospital. The public statements can include media appearances, interviews, social media posts, opinion pieces, blah, blah, blah. But you have to have made some kind of post. You can't just be a victim of believing COVID misinformation to be nominated. And if you are, you'll be flagged down. So it has to actually be like a person who is spreading fake news. So rule 2. Go ahead.
I was going to say really quick, I haven't seen a lot of posts though of like somebody going to the hospital and then being like, oh, I've got COVID, like I haven't really seen many of those.
Sure. I think a lot of time it's the family, or they're like, I think it's like the family, like afterwards, they're like, yeah, he's like, this person's been incubated or intubated, whatever. It's like, and then like the last post is always like an angel in heaven got its wings or whatever, it's just like, that person did not go to heaven. If there's a fucking heaven, that person doesn't belong there.
Oh my God, Shane. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so rule 2, don't be a dick. Don't root for nominees in the awards. So you're not allowed to be gleeful. It says specifically, don't be gleeful. Don't root for nominees to be awarded, especially the Facebook, and they use the word schlubs here, which I think is interesting, especially the Facebook schlubs whose only crime was taking up residence in the misinformation echo chamber. So I feel like this one's kind of lip service. Like they can't.
How do you judge that?
Yeah, right. And like it's almost like a fail-safe or like I can't remember the word I'm looking for, but like so that if they ever
we had this rule right here. You can't argue with us.
Yeah, exactly. It's clearly antithetical to the spirit of the subreddit here, which is like we're laughing at people who are dead. I feel like this is in name only kind of. But some of the other ones that actually do seem to care a little bit more about the victims is you can't post about non-public figures without first redacting the entire name or the entire image of any photos you put up. You have to block it out entirely. Nothing can leak through. It's not about it's not about shaming anonymous people. And also no posts that include children, period. Just can't post children. Okay. And then 5 or fewer. So I'll stop there. So, but they have some morals here. So knowing that there are at least a set of rules that govern this, Colin or Ian, does it change how you feel one way or the other about it being moral or immoral?
I'm okay with it now.
Cool. Me too.
Now, I don't know. Some of these seem like in name only. I don't know. I mean, how active are the moderators? I mean, this is like a whole nother topic that we won't go down, but it's like who are the moderators? Are they really active? Like, how often are they filtering this stuff? Are they really checking that they, spread misinformation? In theory, like, I think that's nice, I guess. Like, only target the people that are actively doing harm. Sure. That's cool.
That was going to be my point is, what if we got 5 unpaid teenagers from the Midwest to moderate this? And like, I'm sure they're doing a great job filtering out all those all those breakings.
Yeah. Well, keeping in mind that like all these rules are in fact being followed, like I'm a little bit more okay with it if it's just kind of like, now it seems like a Dickens tale, like this could happen to you. Like it's just like a little micro cautionary, like a weirdly micro tale or something of like a Dickensian nature. So I don't know, like I feel less bad about it now. Like knowing that like you can't do kids, knowing that like you have to block out names and faces, like it's just, I mean, I don't know. Cause like, I feel like, you know what? We've talked enough about this. All right, let's move on to the next story. Okay.
Well, so the only thing before we do, the one other thing I wanted to say about this thing is the fucking savage tagline for this subreddit. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's the Herman Cain Award awarded ... posthumously, which I think is like so fucking savage. But all right. So with that, Ian, take us away.
I'm less okay with it now. Yeah, I wish